I would like to ask the AG to propose legislation for what we call small claims court. There are lots of poor people, to an example you just gave, that they have issues with others and sometimes with large firms, but the lawyer fee is greater than the fee you're claiming.
It is their
right.
Yes. A right, the right that someone has. All of our rights exist in context.
What is the context of a second medical opinion?
Because you're disrespecting the process.
No.
Jesus, this is common sense, man.
Any situation which you see in the group, you just dealing with Afro-Guyanese issues. If one, you can't bring and pull the leaders of the African community together, you're failing. And if two, you can't put forward a vision, a blueprint, and a plan for African Guyanese, you're failing as well.
Pleasant Friday evening to you. This is the Freddie Kissoon Show on Labor Day 2026. This is a time of the calendar year in which the value of labor versus capital is highlighted. It doesn't seem that labor is much respected as it was 30 years ago. This evening you can see I'm wearing my Palestinian scarf and my t-shirt with Abraham Traore, the anti-imperialist head of government in Burkina Faso, and someone like a lightning rod has become the rallying cry for international justice for the global south and the third world people. If there is no conspiracy to remove him, he is going to take his name and etch it and write it in the books of the 21st century. This evening with me is someone I have known for more than 50 years. We were radicals, teenagers together, pro-China on the Mao, pro-USSR, pro-liberation, and there is very few people in Guyana that have had the international experience of being involved in the third world, in Africa, in the Arab world, in the anti-imperialist, inside the anti-imperialist narrative as Gerald Perreira. He was very close to the Gaddafi government and worked with countries in Africa and the Arab world. I would think that in his sojourns in the Arab world, he met his Lebanese wife and married her, Marianne, and she is in Guyana with him. I never thought about it. It's only now that I could have asked her to sit in the middle. But Marianne is very much involved in the Palestinian struggle in Guyana, in the boycott and divest movement. But with me this evening is a man whose credential in Pan-Africanism stands as long as the Essequibo River. As I've said to you, I've known Gerald Perreira for more than 50 years. And I don't know about the Caribbean, but in Guyana, I think he's the longest serving Pan-Africanist. This guy will bring tonight his journeys in the anti-imperialist world. We will talk about what's going on in the United States, what's going on with the resurgence of imperialism. Gerald, the floor is yours. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me here.
Shoot.
Welcome. Yes, and good evening to all the viewers. You know, it's always good to be on this program. I mean, and Freddie, I must admit that apart from you and Christopher Ram, you know, over the years, Chris invited me on this program, Plain Talk. And
people haven't invited you, I know. Yes,
yeah. Well, just
no, look, I think
you and Chris have opened up your platform to everyone.
Look, I don't necessarily agree. I think you're consistently anti-imperialist, and as youths we have kept that anti-imperialist. But there are edges and shapes that I may not agree with. But the essential Gerald Perreira and his anti-imperialist plank is someone that we should present to Guyana.
I agree, but why I highlighted your program and Chris is in this country, there's some people who do not want to, let me put it this way, they wouldn't have me on their program because what I'm going to say is not what they expect and they want to be on safe grounds. And let me tell you three type of
But
people.
you can't endanger people's visa, General.
No, well, let me tell you three type of people I have no respect for, none whatsoever. Cowards, opportunists, and snitches. I cannot take those three types. So if I believe that we have to be consistent, for example, let me give you an example of two things that happened recently. Marco Rubio went to Munich and he addressed the European leaders. And he said, in plain words, I'm going to put it in a nutshell. He said, look, America, we want to reinforce Western civilization, right? We have to take back what we have lost. And the mistake that you Europeans made was that you decolonized. And decolonization was a communist conspiracy. You should not have decolonized. And he actually said, don't be timid, don't be apologetic for colonialism. It was civilizing. And by extension, when you read what Rubio said, he was saying all this talk about reparations and for African enslavement is absolute nonsense. Don't stand. And you know what? Not one black rights organization or so-called Pan-African organization in this country